Marcel.
Hi. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. Any day that I get to talk about giant spiders is a good day.
Very cool. For me too. So let's dive right into it. I saw the movie a couple of weeks ago here in Germany. I'm from Germany, by the way, at the Fantasy Film
Oh,
Fest. Yeah, at the Fantasy Film Fest, and it really got a lot of great reactions. So thank you
oh,
for that. It
really?
was definitely yes, yes, yes.
Oh, dude, that's so good to hear. Any time somebody tells me that it gets good reactions, I'm happy. But that's my home crowd, Fantasy Film Fest. But you're my people.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
definitely, definitely. And you could totally tell. I think there were a lot of people in there that were afraid of spiders.
Yes,
So
yes, I have
it
the
was a
same
great
problem.
it was a great experience. So thank you for that. And congratulations on the movie, of course. It's really great. Um,
Thank you very much, Marcel. I appreciate that.
what I loved about this movie is that it combines kind of like two of my favorite genres. Like it's a creature feature, but more specifically, it's a spider creature feature, which in its own is its own genre, if you ask me. But sadly, we kind of get way too few of those. So what I want to know
Yes.
is what was the initial idea for this movie? Did you want to make a creature feature first and then decided on a spider as your main threat? Or did you want to make a movie about the fear of spiders from the beginning?
Yeah, that's interesting. I sat down specifically to write something. I wanted to write something that was in a very specific template for horror, which is I wanted to do a single location with a family, and one creature. And I just sat there, like that was the template I wanted to
Mhm.
write in. So my single location was going to be an apartment block, in the dead of winter in New York. So everybody's kind of trapped indoors. It's kind of like a COVID feeling. I wrote this in the middle of COVID, so it's very much,
Ah, I see.
influenced by that. The family that I chose was my family. I decided to just kind of write about what I know. So Ethan, the lead guy, he's very much in the arts like me. I'm a director. He's a graphic artist. It's the same thing.
Mhm.
He's a comic book artist. And I have a stepdaughter. And at the time, we just had a new baby, and I'm married with a wife, so it was very much my family that I was using. And then I was like, what is the creature going to be? And I figured, it can't really be, zombies and demons. I've kind of done all that before, and it can't really be a ghost or anything because James Wan does that so well. It can't be possession because everybody's kind of doing that. And I really had to think about the thing that I was most terrified of. And I have
Mhm.
intense arachnophobia, and because I am from Australia and spiders are everywhere. We
Mhm.
have spiders the size of my hand, just crawling around on the roof like on a regular basis. We've got these huge things called
Mhm.
huntsmen. They're everywhere. And we've got a spider called a funnel web that can literally kill you. If it bites
Mhm.
you and you don't get to a hospital in 5 hours, you're dead. So I've always had a fear of spiders because of that. And I just couldn't think of anything scarier than, a spider the size of a pit bull terrier that's going to drag you into an air conditioning duct and slowly devour you over a long period of
Mhm.
time. And I was just, okay, that's the scariest thing that I could think of. I'm going to write about that, and here we are.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I haven't been to Australia yet. I think it's because I'm afraid of all the spiders that might wait for me there.
Everything is trying to kill us over here. We've got killer spiders. We've got some of the most venomous snakes in the world. We've got giant great white sharks that are going to drag you under the waves and eat you. I mean, for such a beautiful place, it's very
Mhm.
inhospitable, you know?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you talked a bit about the influences of the movie and you can totally feel that it's very personal, but what are some of like movie influences that you looked up on when developing this monster and the setting? Because there's a lot that could come to mind here.
Yeah, I had probably the biggest influences for me on this one were Alien and The Thing. Ridley Scott's Alien is a single location monster movie, and they're very much trapped in the spaceship, and a creature is basically eating its way through the spaceship, and I always felt in a weird way that H.R. Geiger's design, and especially the way that Ridley Scott shot it,
Mhm.
it felt spider-like, the xenomorph. So
Exactly, yeah.
I was very influenced by that. And I think there's a few influences, like even the bit where the Robin Nevin character, the Gunter character, is wandering around going, here, kitty, 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 kitty. I mean, that's straight out
Mhm.
of Alien. You know, I mean, that's a copy from a STING. And also, yeah, John Carpenter's The Thing in that, you know, it's a group of people who all trapped in a giant science kind of enclosure in Antarctica. They're trapped in there and there's nowhere to go. And I love the humor of John Carpenter. I love how he threads between, you know, incredible tension and horror. But there's always a laugh with John Carpenter. Almost every 10 minutes, there's a really decent laugh. He's got a great sense of humor. And so those two films in particular were very much influential for me on this film.
Yeah, I totally see that. I mean, the setting, of course, and I was also just thinking in both of these movies, we, like you said, we have like spider-like monsters. In The Thing, we have the spider head, we have the face huggers, even in Alien. So yeah, it's all like spiders seem to be very scary in all of these settings.
That's a good point. Yeah, the face huggers are very spider-like, which is the thing that makes them the most terrifying. Something with more than 5 legs scuttling at you is never a good look. It's just so alien. You know, we're so used to bipeds that yeah, that's a really horrible thing. But also, yeah, the head comes off one of the characters in The Thing and then grows spider legs and crawls around with a severed head on its abdomen. And that's a wonderful image. Wonderfully horrific, anyway.
For horror fans, definitely.
Yes.
What I also really appreciated was that you created this conflict between the characters that was actually engaging, emotional, and heartfelt. Because sometimes in horror, these aspects can kind of feel just tagged on. But yeah, it was actually emotional when I watched it. So how did you create this conflict to make sure it would still matter, even when there's a giant spider killing people left and right?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to try and make a decent horror film, you really do need to care about the characters before you begin to put them in peril or kill them, you know. And so that's half the battle with a horror film director is you have to get the dramatic tension correct. And you have to have characters that are believable and three-dimensional so that, you know, we feel something when these people are you know, put into positions where they're going to live or die. It was a little bit easier for me on this one because so much of it was based on stuff that was kind of in a little way going on in my own life. So I was kind of basically drawing from vague similarities in my own life and then blowing it up to 10. I have a stepdaughter. We never argue, you know, we've got such a good relationship. But in my head, I was like, well, if we were going to argue, what would it be about? And so I had to make up all that stuff. But because, you know, the relationships are, you know, the base of them are based on like real things, I think that maybe helped with, you know, making it feel a little bit more real, you know, and of course the actors, you know, I mean, like you can write as much as you want and plan as much as you want, but if you don't have a brilliant actor, you know, like Elila Brown carrying your film, you're in big trouble. And, you know, Ryan Corr as the father was just so good, and Penelope Mitchell and all those guys really, you know, worked. I mean, they're such good actors that you really believed this family was real. So when the spider starts attacking them and, you know, dragging them down into the basement, you feel horrified because you've gotten to know these people and you care about their lives and whatnot, you know.
Definitely. And what I find interesting, last question, is that you mentioned that you're the stepfather, and like that's where you got the idea from, the motivation from, and you're the filmmaker, but the movie itself in the end is mostly from the perspective of the daughter. So what made you decide, if you're the stepdad yourself, what made you decide to make that switch of perspectives in the movie?
Well, it's funny because I was talking to my stepdaughter about this the other day, and, you know, like she knows I kind of base the character on her, but I was sort of saying at the end of the day, it's really me, you know. I'm Charlotte. I was a little, you know, I was a little kid, you know, at the end of the day, and I relate more to the little girl than I do to the father in a weird way, because I was a kid who used to crawl around air conditioning ducts and cause trouble and all that kind of stuff. So it made sense for me to make the film from you know, the girl's perspective, from the child's perspective. Yeah, I guess. Also, I think if with a horror film, if the perspective is from the character who's least likely able to defend themselves in a weird way, like a little 12-year-old girl, it's scarier for the audiences, you know. So that, I guess, was the major decision factor there on, you know. And then, you know, in the third act, when, spoiler alert, she turns into like a young Ripley, and gets out the guns and goes down to kill the creature, it's even more satisfying, because, you know, you think, oh God, this poor little girl, and then suddenly, you know, she's running around kicking ass. That's just fun for the audiences too, you know.
Yes, very true. It worked for me, and I can't wait for a lot of people to see it, because I feel like not just at fantasy film festivals will always get great reactions from people.
Oh, fantastic. You know, because you spend so many years on these things, you know, you want people to see it, you want people to enjoy it. At the end of the day, I just wanted to make a really good giant spider movie, because there's not many of them out there, and spiders are so horrifying. It kind of blows my mind that more giant spider movies aren't out there, because they're a truly horrific creature. Although, you know, they've got the French one came out recently.
Oh yeah, right.
What's that one called?
Infested, I think, is the English title.
Infested. Yeah, that looks really good, man. I mean, I shouldn't be, you know, pimping somebody else's movie, but man, that looks really good. I saw the trailer for that, and as an arachnophobe, I was like, oh my God, this looks horrific. So yeah,
that would make
two spider movies have come out at the same time. You know?
That would make for a great movie night, yeah.